That. Bhuri Bhagyam, the greatest good fortune. Iha, here. Janma, the birth. Kimapi, any whatsoever. Atavyam, in the forest of Vrindavana. Yat, which. Gokule, in Gokula. Api, even. Katama, of any of the devotees. Hungry, of the feet. Rajaha, by the dust. Abhishekam, bathing. Yat, whose. Jivatam, life. To, indeed. Nikilam, whole. Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mukundaha, Lord Mukunda. To, but. Adyapi, even until now. Yat, whose. Padarajaha, dust of the feet. Shruti, by the Vedas. Mrigyam, sought after. Eva, certainly. So translation. My greatest possible good fortune would be to take any birth whatsoever in this forest of Gokula and have my head bathed by the dust falling from the lotus feet of any of its residents. Their entire life and soul is the Supreme Personality of Godhead Mukunda, the dust of whose lotus feet is still being searched for in the Vedic mantras. So you can repeat, my greatest possible good fortune would be to take any birth whatsoever, in this forest of Gokula, and have my head bathed by the dust, falling from the lotus feet of any of its residents. Their entire life and soul is the Supreme Personality of Godhead Mukunda. The dust of whose lotus feet is still being searched for in the Vedic mantras. So, purport by the servants of His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. This verse indicates that Lord Brahma desires to take birth even as the smallest blade of grass in Vrindavan, so that the holy residents of the Lord's abode may walk upon his head and bless him with the dust of their feet. Being realistic, Lord Brahma does not aspire to directly achieve the dust of Lord Krishna's feet. Rather, he aspires for the mercy of the Lord's devotees. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that Brahma is willing to take birth even as a stone in a paved footpath in the Lord's abode. Since Brahma is the creator of the entire universe, we can just imagine the glorious position of the residents of Vrindavan. The Lord's devotees achieve their exalted position by unalloyed devotion and love. One cannot achieve such spiritual opulence by any puffed up material process of personal improvement. That's interesting. In Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Srila Prabhupada reveals the mind of Brahma as follows: but if I am not so fortunate to take birth within the forest of Vrindavan, I beg to be allowed to take birth outside the immediate area of Vrindavan, so that when the devotees go out, they will walk over me. Even that would be a great fortune for me. I am just aspiring for a birth in which I will be smeared by the dust of the devotees' feet. In other words, he's saying even just the visitors to Vrindavan, not even the residents of Vrindavan. If it's outside of Vrindavan, the residents of Vrindavan never leave Vrindavan, so it's outside of Vrindavan. It's those who go on pilgrimage to Vrindavan. So we will read the other purports to this verse, also written by the servants of His Divine Grace the Prabhupada, particularly in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, Gopi Pranadana Prabhu, summarizing the commentary of Srila Sanatana Goswami. Here's the purport here to the same verse. Anyway, we read the translation. Commentary. In this prayer, Brahma elaborates on the request he has already made. And he's already made a request. Tadustu me nata saburi bhago Vetra Vanyatra Atuva Tirascham Yanaham Eko Pi Bhavaljanadam Bhutwani Shive Tavapada Palama. My dear Lord, I therefore pray to be so fortunate that in this life as Lord Brahma or in another life, wherever I may take birth, I may be counted as one of your devotees. I pray that wherever I may be, even among the animal species, I can engage in devotional service to your lotus feet. That's from the 30th verse in the same chapter. Lord Brahma would very gladly take birth again in this world, even as a blade of grass or other lowly being. And that blade of grass could even be in a wild forest. And that forest could even be a residence of cows and cowards. The only condition Brahma insists on is that he always be able to serve Krishna's lotus feet. But couldn't Brahma serve Krishna comfortably in liberation or in a high position, such as ruler of a universe? No, Brahma asserts. He does not aspire for any such advantage. He is willing to neglect the goal of liberation and accept Janma, another birth. And rather than be born in some glorious planet of his own, he is willing to be born on this earth, Iha. And rather than in a big city or town, he is willing to be born in a forest. And rather than a tapovana, a forest where ascetics go for their spiritual advancement, he is willing to belong to a simple cowherd village. And what would Brahma gain by training as Satyaloka for a birth in Gokula? He would get the opportunity to bathe in the foot dust of one or another of Gokula's residents. Such an abhishek would be equivalent to a bath in all the sacred waters of the universe. Wow. Because Gokula is the supreme holy tirtha. Such coronation bath would be equivalent to being exalted to whatever position in this world he might desire. Why pray to take birth only as a creature who might be touched by the dust of the feet of the Gokula Vasis? Why not ask for a birth as one of the cowards in Gokula? To this question, Brahma replies that the Vedas have been searching for this dust from the time of their birth, yet to this day have not obtained it. What to speak of birth as a coward, they are disqualified from achieving even this dust because they identify themselves with various conceptions of material life and engage people mainly in paths and disciplines leading to material success or in personal liberation. And since Brahma is younger than the Vedas, who are his teachers, what hope can he have for obtaining the dust of the feet of the Brajavasis? He can only pray for it. Here Brahma notes that Krishna, being eager to display fully his supreme power, beauty, charm, and compassion in his appearance on earth, is now more than ever Bhagavan, the eternal personality of Godhead. Thus he is called Mukunda, the giver of the topmost happiness of prema. He is the life and soul of the residents of Braj. For in their lives no time passes, nor does any activity occur, either external or internal, in which he, that means Krishna, is not present, always submitting himself to their desires. In other words, Krishna is present, but he's always given himself, that's Krishna, to the desires of the residents of Vrindavan. Because Brahma, being much younger than the Vedas, considers himself their disciple, he is shy to even imagine becoming a direct associate of Krishna and Gokula. He thinks it inappropriate to pray for something that for him is impossible. In his opinion, if he were to submit such a prayer, just like a sickly, poverty-stricken person praying to become a king, people throughout the universe might laugh at him, a prospect that fills him with embarrassment. Ooh, what a nice purport. All right. Tadbhuri bhagyami janma kimapyatavyam yad kukulepi katha mangri rajobhishekam vajjivatam tunikilam bhagavan makundas vadya pidyat padaraja shruti mrigyam eva. So before reading the other purports, I just want to comment a little bit on this. And you'll find that not only does Lord Brahma pray like this, but we also find that Uddhava, who is Krishna's very close associate, advisor, cousin, prays like this too. And he prayed like this specifically when he went to carry Krishna's message to the gopis that Krishna was just coming. And of course, Krishna wasn't just coming. And then he saw the great dedication and love of the gopis. Particularly, there's that whole interaction that the bumblebee, the Brahma Gita, in which Radharani is talking to a bumblebee, thinking the bumblebee is a messenger of Krishna. And she's just like chastising the bumblebee. You're an unreliable servant of an unreliable master. And then, I mean, it's quite a touching interaction. And then she chastises the bumblebee, says, get away. And the bumblebee gets away, goes away for some time, and she's crying because of the separation from the bumblebee. Anyway, that's quite... So, and when Uddhava sees this, he prays to become blades of grass, or dust, so the gopis can step on them. And to this day, he resides in Vrindavan, around Govardhan, a place called Uddhava Kund, which is right near Kushima Sarovar, right on the other side of Govardhan Hill. And it's described when Krishna's great-grandson, Brajanava, came with the ones of Krishna's wives that were still remaining. And he came to Braj to establish the different places and install deities in memory of Krishna's pastimes. Then he had kirtan, and then Krishna, gopis, and Uddhava even came out of the ground. And anyway, it's a wonderful story. And that occurred right at Uddhava Kund, which those of you who are going to India will be able to hear about. And you won't see Uddhava, but we'll explain everything. And there's a very nice temple at Uddhava Kund, the Uddhava Bihari temple, that's being taken care of by a great pure devotee. His name is Giriraj, actually. And his father did like 1,000 parikramas around Govardhan to have him as a son. And then this person's, Giriraj's son, is going to be taking over from him. So it's like a multi-generational thing. And they're all just great devotees. The point is they're great devotees. You know, sometimes the Westerners, they go to Braj and they think, you know, we're the Westerners. We couldn't be prouder. And if you don't like it, we're going to chant a little louder. But we don't properly respect these residents of Braj. I mean, it's just, you just go there and you just see every morning. For example, this Giriraj, he's comes, even though he's like much older than me, he must be 90 or something, 85 or 90. He comes when it's really cold out. I mean, here in North Carolina, you know, it's a little cold, you get a little bit, you start shaking. I said, oh, let me stay inside in my comfortable bed. But every morning, I remember it was so cold. I was there in January. It was so cold. He would come out, and he'd be there worshiping, and he'd sit there all day and study the Vedic literatures. He has these shastras there, and he would study them, and he would serve the people who would come, and he wouldn't ask for anything. So these are very special eternal Brajavasis that we're talking about, people like this. So anyone who has taken birth or anyone who lives in Braj should be worshipped by us. And so we have this story about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he was finally allowing Jagadananda Pandit to go to Braj. He said, just stay there for a short time because the people there are different than you. You won't properly understand them or respect them. And with Jagadananda Pandit, he was in the mood of Satyabhama. And so even Jagadananda Pandit got angry at Sanatana Goswami when he was there, because Sanatana Goswami was wearing a turban, a red turban that had been given to him by another sannyasi other than Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Jagadananda Pandit not only got angry, but he took a pot and he was going to hit Sanatana Goswami. And Sanatana Goswami said, I just wanted to see your anger. That's why I wore this hat, or this turban. Anyway, so we should be especially careful dealing with these residents of Vrindavan. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says you stay a fortnight, because after that you start to see them as ordinary people. And you criticize them. It's very dangerous. Anyway, so here Lord Brahma is actually making the point for us that we should just aspire somehow or other to get the dust of the feet of these personalities. And they love Krishna. If you talk to them, it's just like they've been born with Krishna. Krishna's their friend. I mean, they may not be chanting 16 rounds, they may not be chanting at all. But Krishna's their friend. You understand? They live with Krishna. So one has to be very careful. So anyway, let's go and read the other purports. So anyway, so Uddhava resides there as grass, and many great devotees, they reside there as grass to get the dust of the feet of the devotees. In fact, actually, one thing I wanted to mention. So Lord Brahma is praying like this. So guess what happened in his next life? Does anyone know? He took birth as Haridas Thakur. Because, sometimes it's described because he had stolen the calves, the calves, the cowherd boys, and that was an offense. And also, he had been cursed by the gopis. Did you know that? Lord Brahma had been cursed by the gopis because he had created eyelids. The gopis, they were envious of the fish because the fish don't have eyelids. Because the gopis love Krishna so much that not even a moment, like a millisecond or microsecond, you blink. I don't even notice it when I'm blinking. So the gopis, they curse this creator, he has done this. And also because he had stolen it. So anyway, so as a reaction, but when Krishna gives a reaction, it's kind of nice. He took birth as Haridas Thakur, and he was in Gupta Vrindavan. Gupta Vrindavan means Sridham Mayapur. Gupta means like hidden. So he was in Sridham Mayapur, and he got the association of Krishna, and also got the association of the gopis, because many of the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were gopis. So like Swarup Damodar Goswami, Ramananda Roy. So he got the association of all these personalities. So you see, he's praying like this, and then Krishna heard his prayers, but he had to get a little punishment in the meantime. He's born in a Muslim family. But actually, even though he's born in a Muslim family, he was always Krishna conscious, obviously. So let us read some of the other commentaries on this particular verse, beginning with Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary. Let's go back here. I have given up my control of the universe and the quest for future liberation, But now, how can I get the dust of the feet of the inhabitants of Braj? Thinking thus, Brahma speaks with certainty. Let me have good fortune. May you be pleased to cast your merciful glance upon me. Kad Buddhi Bhagyam. What is that good fortune? To be born as a blade of grass in Vrindavan. Iha Atavyam. To be touched by the feet of your dear coward friends of Braj. and here Krishna, actually Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is actually speaking on behalf of Krishna. He says, "O Brahma, give up such an unusual obsession and pray for something more suitable for you." So he's saying, Krishna is saying that to Lord Brahma. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur does this sometimes. Especially if you read about the pastime of the Radha Kund pastime, then he actually becomes very dramatic in expressing what Krishna says and what the gopis say. Amazing. And of course he was able to understand all these things because he resided in Shamakund, right next to Shamakund. That's his Bhajan Kutir. In the place called Manasa Pavana Ghat. And at the Manasa Pavana Ghat, there's a pilu tree, which is an incarnation of a Brahmin from Kashi who was present. Does anyone remember that? Anyone's been there with me? No. One person. You don't remember? So, if you're fortunate, we'll take you all there this year. There was a Brahmin who was from Kashi, and he took birth there, and he took birth as a pilu tree, and that pilu tree was like the clothes hanger for the gopis when they would go bathing in Shamakund. And so that pilu tree is described in Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, where he was able to converse with the pilu tree and hear all these pastimes. Now, not only was he there at that particular place, but previously, of course, Ranganath Das Goswami's Bhajan Kutir is there, and of course Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami's Bhajan Kutir is there. It's a pretty nice place to have association, isn't it? And also there's the ashram of Gangamata Goswamini there. It's right next to the place of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Anyway, so he's speaking on behalf of Krishna. Oh, Brahma, give up such an unusual obsession. Obsession. When you say someone's obsessing about something, and pray for something more suitable for you. And then Brahma replies, let me be born at the edge of Gokula as a stone slab or piece of cloth to take the dust from the feet of one of your menial sweepers, like the Bungis. But Brahma, Krishna speaking again, what is the reason for such glorification of the inhabitants of Braj? Do you not have shame as a worshipful creator of the universe to bathe in the dust of the lowly sweeper? And then Brahma replies, but they have taken their very life, Jivatam, as the most beautiful, Bhagavan, with a smile, Mukya, like a jasmine, Kunda flower, Mukunda. Wow. So Mukunda means like a smile, Mukha means like mouth. And Kunda means like flower, jasmine flower, Mukunda. So he's taking it, Mukunda means smile like a jasmine flower. Without you, they perish because they have such unprecedented love for you. You are all in all, Nikhilam. Without which eating and drinking have no meaning. Even now, the Shrutis are searching for the dust of their feet without success. I should be more ashamed, of course this is Brahma speaking, I should be more ashamed than the Vedas with my little prayers. O Lord, let that be. Previously I prayed with Vaidhi Bhakti. Now I pray to be immersed in the ocean of the nectar of Raganuga Bhakti. Having become the loyal follower of the inhabitants of Braj. So, of course, Vaidhi Bhakti means bhakti practice. Rules and regulations practice. Not only practice, it means rules and regulations. And Raganuga means it's also practice, but it's spontaneous practice. So now he's actually come to the platform of Raganuga Bhakti. Wow. So that's Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. And Jiva Goswami also has his comment. Praising the great glory of the inhabitants, Brahma develops humility and indicates, he says Brahma develops humility, and indicates that being counted among them, he boldly desires service at Krishna's feet. Then he prays, greatly respecting the dust from the devotees' feet. The word iha indicates that he rejects the 5 types of liberation, since they are unfavorable for service. My liberation is my birth in Braj, iha. In Vaikuntha there is salokya, that means living on the same planet as the Lord. There's also sarupya. But in Mathura, there are forests such as Gokula, where there is grass and dirt. There I can be covered in the dust from their feet with an internal desire for service to Krishna. He wants a bath because he is greedy for perfection of all of his limbs. Wow. So that's really why someone like rolls in the dust in Vrindavan. I was always wondering that. Why do you roll? Why just put something on your head? So now it's answered. I'm happy I read this because I never understood that before. I just thought, just put some dust on your head, that's enough. But you roll because you want perfection in all your spiritual limbs. Wow. Isn't that nice? So you read the commentaries of these acharyas, they actually reveal things in many ways. Or why do you not pray for birth as a coward directly? Bhagavan, the life of the people of Gokul, is impossible to attain by one's own efforts since he is the supreme. He is attained as the giver of liberation, Mukunda, but not the giver of bhakti yoga. In other words, like Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that Krishna doesn't give bhakti, that comes from his devotees. But Krishna's devotees in Braj cannot live for a moment without bhakti yoga. Thus the name Mukunda is uttered out of the greatest prema. How should I attain Krishna, who is so unapproachable by other methods and has prema difficult to attain? Since you have appeared, your foot dust is directly visible to the Upanishads now. How can one estimate the glory of that dust? Its glory has no end. This is also Brahma speaking. Shruti says, Yato vacha nivarte. Words cannot describe him. That's from the Tata Riya Upanishad. But it is not proper for me to pray for the dust of the feet to you, whose knowledge is rare in the Vedas, which gives me all of its knowledge. What to speak of praying to be born as a coward endowed with prema, serving your lotus feet? The people of Braj have been praised from verse 31. How much more glory should Nanda and Yashoda have? With the intention of praising Nanda and Yashoda because of shame and fear of his offense. In other words, he was feeling really repentant here. He did not mention Krishna's friends in the beginning or Krishna's powers in making the forms of the boys, but first spoke about the mothers who derived great bliss because of his hiding the boys. And we won't have time to finish everything, but Sanatana Goswami says, with a desire for bhakti like that of the people of Braj, or with a desire to serve their lotus feet, Brahma now in 5 words rejects 5 items, including liberation, which are unfavorable for this type of bhakti. With the word janma, birth, he rejects liberation. With the word iha, here, he rejects swarga, that's the heavenly planets. With the word kimapi, he rejects being a Brahmin. Wow. With the word atavyam, in the forest, he rejects Mathura. With the word Gokule, he rejects Tapovan and other forests. Kimapi indicates that he would be some low grass. That grass reaches perfection by being bathed in Krishna's foot dust from head to foot. Or out of greed. So next time I go to Braj, I have to take a bath with all the dust. Or out of greed, bathing indicates that all his limbs should be successful. Or bathing in the dust only once is indicated. This dust is full of all the holy places. Krishna's foot dust is sought but not attained by the Shrutis at this time at Yapi when he appears in this world. We're going to have to end here. Anyway, this is really wonderful understandings given by the Acaryas and by our devotees who are translating from the Acaryas, and we are extremely fortunate to be able to hear this. I mean, we don't understand how fortunate we are. I mean, when the Vedas are searching after this, and we get this, you know, I mean, at least I don't feel that I deserve to hear or get any of these things. So be thankful